Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. You're probably wondering, what the fuck? Where are you right now? You're in a new place. Well, as promised, before the end of 2023, I found a house rental. I didn't buy a house, keyword. I have nowhere near enough money. I make nowhere near enough money to buy a house. But I have found a house that I could afford to rent, a pretty good deal. And it's in a Seattle suburb, like, just outside of downtown. I'm close enough that I could drive to the Space Needle within, like, 20 minutes. And, of course, it's really nice. It's actually 2 stories, technically. There's a top floor, like a ground floor where you enter, like from the front door and from the backyard or whatever. And then when I go down the basement, it's a completely finished basement, and that's where I am right now. My new streaming room is in this finished basement. I'll go ahead and back up a bit so you guys can get a better view of it. What do you guys think? Obviously, you can't see all of it from here. It's actually quite large, but it looks pretty good. And you obviously can't see it as well as you would normally with the light on. Oh, geez. There we go. I really like the wood paneling. The wood paneling, I think, is really nice. It's really dusty and, like, cobwebby, and it's got, like, old paint and some small wear and tear because it's a 1950s house. Like, the linoleum has some, like, chips in it and stuff. I have a lot of home improvement stuff I'm going to do to this place. I literally lived for a year with my uncle in my grandma's old house from the 1950s, and me and my uncle transformed it over the course of a summer, and it was one of the most fun summers of my entire life. I am really excited to fix up this place. It's really nice overall, really good bones, just a little bit of wear and tear that makes it less like, you wouldn't walk in and be like, whoa, it's so pretty. Like, I still need to dust a lot of stuff too, because I was sick when I moved in. Found this place for a pretty good deal, and I'm pretty happy that I was able to get it, but it was still quite expensive. The problem was, my lease ended right as I got this place, which normally wouldn't be a problem, you would just move. But the day that it was decided, like 2 days before I needed to move out and where we found the place, I just absolutely started to feel like garbage. My mom was visiting. She was helping me find a place, and she'd flown out to visit me. And ever since she flew out, I kind of felt a little iffy, but that day in particular, I was starting to feel really rough in the throat, and it was familiar. I've had COVID before, so it was familiar. I was like, Mom, I think I have COVID. And she's like, yeah, I know I have COVID. I just didn't tell you because I didn't want you to get mad at me. I was like, what? She got COVID on the plane and infected me with it. So I got COVID, and towards the end of the day, by the time like the sun was going down, because COVID symptoms get worse at night, I start to feel the fever and the chills, and I feel like garbage. I feel like I can barely move. All I want to do is huddle up under a blanket next to a space heater and just fall asleep. But I've got to move, because my lease ends in 2 days. There's no time. And my mom doesn't lift things. Like, there's really no way to put it... There's no way I can put it that makes her sound not lazy. She doesn't lift things. If she... Like, when she arrives with her suitcases, I have to carry all of her suitcases and bags. So she basically just sits up in the chair. Granted, she helped me find this place, so I appreciate that. She helped in that way. But she sits on the couch and watches TV while I carry all of my possessions and move my everything, packing it up into a car. And I have to move it downstairs and everything with a fever, chills, muscle aches, and just a pounding COVID headache. It was also 38 degrees outside Fahrenheit on the first night of the move, and I think it was like 40 something on the second night, and I finished moving on the second night. So it was really cold, but to be fair, the fever made it so that when I was inside, I was drenched in sweat and overheated, and when I was outside, I was cold and shivering, but it didn't feel as awful as when I was inside in the heat. because I had a fever and my body wanted me to break the fever. And so I ended up just taking off all of my like warm clothes and just walking out in a t-shirt and basketball shorts and moving everything in that, because the cold was actually helping to break the fever. And so I was also vomiting a lot, but I hadn't eaten anything. For like 2 days, I'd happened to not eat anything, which is really good because I was just vomiting nonstop. And all I was vomiting up was like mucus from my like nose draining down my throat and stomach acid. But if I'd eaten, I would be throwing up food, which is just really awful and unpleasant. So I was just like every 20 minutes of moving, I had to stop and run to the sink to just vomit up stomach acid. It was just green foam. That was really, really unpleasant. And I vomited maybe 20 times. It was all just over the course of one day. I only vomited on the first day. And it was just 20 times. I vomited just like greenish yellow foam. Eventually it stopped and I was able to eat. And my first meal after like 3 days of no food and a whole day of vomiting stomach acid was so nice. It was so nice to eat some chicken and yellow rice from a Mexican restaurant. I had this too. It sucked like hell. Yeah, any of you who have had that with COVID as well know exactly what I went through. Anyway, finally, on the last day, I finally finished moving in, and it's my mom's fly-out date. So I finally finished moving into my new place, and like 6 hours later, my mom leaves and flies out, and flies away. So now I'm like here alone and really sick with COVID. So I'm in this new house that's dusty and empty and unfamiliar, but really nice. I like it. And I gotta set up my computer stuff while I'm sick with COVID. I have some technical difficulties, which are really scary, especially when I'm sick. But I managed to, Xanderhal, as a medical employee, please take Paxlovid. Send me some. I get all my computer stuff set up and everything. And I spend the next 2 or 3 days, I can't remember, because, you know, COVID kind of makes everything a bit of a jumble. I just kind of hobble at my computer and just watch, like, I watched the entire Star Wars original trilogy. That helped me get through COVID quite a bit. I was watching, like, nostalgic old shows and movies. It was overall a really unpleasant experience. Oh yeah, Balth, by the way, Balthazar in chat. Me and Balthazar watched the movie The Nice Guys. Pretty good movie. I really like the twist for that. I won't spoil it. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. And this is another part of the story. Well, the night before last night, I was blowing my nose hard as can be into a tissue. And holy fuck, my nose exploded with a massive nosebleed. And I haven't had one in a long time. So it was really worrying. I finally managed to stop it, but then it immediately restarted 5 minutes later, of its own accord. I had to just repeatedly stop this nosebleed, till eventually I decided to just roll up a piece of tissue paper, stick it in my nostril so it would stop the bleeding, and then leave it there, and then go to bed. And I went to bed with my face hanging off the pillow, facing down, so if it did start bleeding, I'd just start bleeding forward and not swallowing the blood or drowning on it, in it. And thankfully I woke up without any further nosebleeds or anything. And I waited an entire day, until this morning, and I was in the shower to blow my nostril again, and just a snake of congealed blood came out of my nostril. I just grabbed it like this and pulled it all the way out, and I felt it snake its way all the way through all of this. And I was finally able to breathe through my right nostril again after an entire day. Sorry, not breathe, but breathe more. Thankfully did not restart the nosebleed. So I feel much better. Much better. And that's basically been my story. I moved into my new place. Oh, one little last funny thing about this that happened. On the first night, when I was watching The Nice Guys with Balthazar over Discord, I was like, you know what would be awesome? If I brought my microwave down here, and I made it so that I could, microwave frozen meals down here. Just run up, grab one from the freezer, run down here, microwave it, and then eat it down here and then just toss it in my trash can right there. Like, I wouldn't have to, like, get too far away from my computer while I'm in a call with friends and stuff. So I set that up. About halfway through microwaving my food, all the power in the room goes out. I'm like, what the fuck? I look out there, and the power in the other room is still on. So I know immediately I blew a switch in my breaker, in my fuse box. So I go and I check, and I can't see any labeled breaker that says basement. Like there is one that says basement, but this is a basement room. But I try it anyway. It was already set to on, so I switch it off and switch it on again. Check my room. The power won't turn back on. At this point, I'm fucking scared. I run to my phone, and I get on call with Balth on over phone and explain what happened. Balth gets on Google and says, see if any of the switches on there are not set all the way to on. Even if it's just by, like, a barely noticeable bit. I was like, okay. See if any of them are, like, even a little bit not all the way to the on position. And I noticed one of them labeled garage that I didn't even look twice at before is, like, just barely set in the not on position. I try to flick it to on a few times and it resists. I'm like, oh, okay. So we switch it off and switch it back on. Balth came in clutch with that. Balth was the hero there. And managed to get the power back on in here. A lot of old houses have ungrounded outlets, which is what mine have. Mine are. And so there is an upper power limit on how much electric stuff I can run in this room. In the future, I will have to pay an electrician to do something about that. Because I need to have a 2-PC streaming setup in here, and, like, lights, and I want to have a fridge and a microwave, too. Nah, this is not a garage. That would be pretty cool if you could have this nice of a garage, right? But yeah, Balth really saved us there. Balth really saved us there. But really, overall, everything is set up for the future of my content. I am planning to live here for the next 5 or more years. The next house I plan to move into, I plan to buy with cash up front. Like my like forever house that I plan to live in. Yeah. I'm pretty happy. I've never felt so stable in my living situation, not since I was a kid, really. And it's nice to be in a place that I'm going to live in for a long time. And I've got the nicest backyard. It is so freaking nice. I'm so excited to show it to you guys. It's perfect for doing quail and for other types of content as well that I haven't even gotten into. I can absolutely build a forge. Yes. 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 I am going to build a smeltery for smelting metal and a fucking forge. I've done it before. I've done it before. And now I've got my own fenced backyard. Oh boy, I'm gonna be doing some blacksmithing. Wait till you guys see me doing streams where it's like, hey guys, let's forge a railroad spike knife. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. Oh, the content's gonna be dope. You guys better get ready. Because come 2024, the future of my content, it's really gonna be something. It's gonna be awesome. I'm really, really excited, and I hope you guys are too.